Hello and welcome to another Baroya StarCraft StarCast. Today I'll be going over a PvP between the red player in the top right corner, the one and only mouzMaNa, and the bottom left hand corner, another Protoss. ShoWTimE, I'm not quite sure who this guy is, but I'm guessing by the colors it's a ladder game, so he must be a high ranking Masters player on the European server, presumably. So, Shakuras Plateau and cross position generally leads itself to a longer game, but again, these mains are very open, very susceptible to blink stalker attacks. But conversely, this ramp is very easily held, as is this, with just a few sentries. 2 sentries will keep this ramp, 1 on this one. So, in PvP, both players opening standard. Looks like Chrono Boost on the Nexus. Neither of them is going for the super cheesy 4-gate, that 10-gate style. But it looks like their incomes are about the same. I was going to say, it looked like one was a little ahead, probably from mineral stacking the closer patches, but doesn't make too much of a difference. Looks like we will have a 12-gate for ShoWTimE versus a 13-gate for mouzMaNa, so it looks like a 5-second difference around, but doesn't really make too much of a difference. Gas should be going down here, and a very smart. Actually, I'm surprised Mana wasn't scouting for any hidden pylons and shenanigans over there. You can hide a lot of tech structures down here if the opponent's not paying attention, as ShoWTimE was checking for. So as I said, both players getting gas. Obviously ShoWTimE's going to be a little ahead considering that he did get the earlier gate, but shouldn't make too much of a difference in the long run. Let's get this gas up. Mana is a very, very powerful Protoss player, so I'm going to be interested to see how ShoWTimE's going to take it down. Although it's always interesting in a mirror matchup. You generally can't account. Although, what is this? mouzMaNa does not have a cybercore. It's a very late cybercore. Seems to have missed his timing by a little bit, which is odd for him, especially since he's not taking gas at all. He's very late on his gas. Something's up. He's not really playing at his peak. Well, ShoWTimE is taking a double gas, and as soon as he gets into the base, he should see how late the cybercore is. Probably won't see a late gas, but and another misclick. He only has 1 in this gas geyser. I'm curious to see what's going on here. It's going to hurt him in the long run because the cybercore is going to be coming up way quicker. He's going to have a lot more gas to tech a lot quicker, and so on and so forth. So it looks like he's doing a 2-gate opening by ShoWTimE and chrono boosting the cybernetic core to get that warp gate out ever so much quicker. There you go. mouzMaNa has fixed this gas situation. I was worried there for a second. So we see a full 30 seconds, excuse me, faster on the warp gate, and he is going down for that gate has still not popped. So generally on a 2-gate, if you're not chrono boosting out this stalker, it's not really going to be that 3 stalker rush that's ever so deadly to the 4-gate, and especially since he sees Mana's not 4-gating, he's not going to worry about it. So that indicates to me he'll do either a fast expand build or he'll go for some kind of very quick tech. Generally, I see a lot of 2-gate Phoenix. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's what the pros want to believe, so it has to be good somehow. This is interesting that Mana has 2 Zealots out, but again, that accounts because his gas was so late. He obviously can't afford Stalkers and Sentries right now. He is going for a standard 3-gate, and yes, there's the Stargate off of 2-gate for ShoWTimE. He's going to be going for a lot of harassment with these Phoenix, but there's also potential for an early push because you can, as I was saying earlier, those sentries are so vital to holding the ramps, but with Phoenix you negate it through high ground vision and can lift up the Phoenix. And I expect this to be, yes, a Robo, 3-gate Robo. Very safe build for Mana. Probably getting a very fast observer. I wouldn't be surprised to see Blink, but he might just forego that in favor of really fast Colossus and or Immortals, excuse me, if he suspects Blink Stalker. But we do see a Robo Facility, excuse me, going down for ShoWTimE, so he's not going to go heavy Phoenix. Just get a few Phoenix to scout, see if he has the opening to pressure this expansion, which is just kind of for mana, and just, overall harassment issues. And especially if Mana was going for, as you can see, ShoWTimE does not really see, but he could be going for a Dark Shrine. And if you don't have the Robo up for an Observer, you're basically out of the game anyway. I believe ShoWTimE's doing the, yes, oh no, he's a little over. Generally you want like this many probes for good saturation on one base, but we'll see. And there are immortals coming out right away, but this Phoenix is going to scout everything, the expansion, the robo, the high sentry count, and it will possibly push him into making a good timing attack right here, because Mana is really not going to have anything. With the Phoenix being able to lift up these sentries and the Immortal, it's going to be tough for this ramp to be held. But no, ShoWTimE is just going to throw down his own expansion while Mana throws up his Twilight Council. I would guess it's Blink. Generally, that's the flavor of the month. That's a huge probe transfer. I wonder why he's going so low saturation in his main. But he's going to be working on double Chrono Boost for the Nexus. He's going to be very safe, especially since he knows these Phoenix are out on the map, so he splits his forces and shouldn't have too much of a problem. I expect Blink to be researched. There's a Forge. He's going heavy upgrades, I guess. Well, these Phoenix are doing what harassment they can. 3 probes really isn't worth the investment. And he's still continuing Phoenix production, which I find it interesting, but I guess he's going to stick with Phoenix for now. And yes, there's Blink on the way for mouzMaNa. So what Mana's going to be doing right now is just building up a nice base of Blink Stalkers, a lot of Immortals and Zealots too, because Zealots really counter Phoenix. Because sure, you can lift up the Phoenix or the Zealots, but then it's not really going to do anything. You're just going to be holding dead weight in the air, while the Stalkers are able to deal damage freely. And conversely, ShoWTimE is going for a lot of Immortals to counter the Blink Stalkers he sees. And Blink won't be done, so he won't be able to blink on this. But there is a cannon going up in the middle line. I expect one in each middle line, yes. So he's worried about whenever he pushes out these Phoenix just coming in and decimating the probe lines, and one cannon generally is enough to shoo off a lot of Phoenix. So with both players comfortably on 2 base, they're each getting their 3rd gas geyser. Expect to see a tech switch soon. Looks like actually, now that's interesting. I wonder why ShoWTimE's going for that Forge. I suppose he scouted the Forge and feels like he needs to keep up in upgrades, but generally upgrades aren't that important in PvP so much as you need a brute force of units and a good tech support behind your unit forces. So you want to have like a lot of immortals, and getting an upgrade really cuts into these strict gas and mineral timings you need for each unit, because each Protoss unit is so expensive. Now we do see a Templar Archives, excuse me, there's the Twilight Council right there. Templar Archives going down for mouzMaNa, so it looks like he's going to be going Charge Lot Archon. I don't really see Storm being used, because almost nobody uses Storm. Although feedbacks could be quite potent if you can keep these Phoenix at bay for a little bit of time, let their energy build up. Meanwhile, ShoWTimE is throwing down a cannon. I think he's really worried about a push because he has all these Phoenix. He knows that Mana is going to have a stronger ground army, so he needs a cannon at the front to protect against that push, since these Phoenix really are only good at harassing or stalling units out. I expect to see this Archon coming anytime, with a 4th gas on the way for both players. So they're really going to start teching hard, as we could see from ShoWTimE throwing down the Robo Bag to go in Colossus production. Oh, good blink by Mana. Yes, he does get a Phoenix. I was going to say, I hope for that blink he gets something out of it. These Phoenix are kind of a stop production, obviously. So right now they're not going to make as big a difference, and ShoWTimE should know that he's going to blink into the main. Mana's going to blink into the main, especially with this observer here. But Mana has the game sense to know that his army's up here, and he's not going to force the issue. Oh, and ShoWTimE had the watchtower, so he's just going to clear that out. Getting ready, get all out Blink Stalkers, getting ready for a push. Well, he's making Archon. No, he's not making Archons. I guess he wants these High Templar for the Phoenix, but I'm not quite sure why he's so scared of them. Especially since he knows as soon as he moves out, Phoenix are going to go in. So having High Templar with his army really isn't going to make so much of a difference. However, we do see Mana supply back at a really, really bad time. Especially when he's getting more gates up and no proxy pylon. He really needs the ability to reinforce right now. Especially since, it's a brilliant move by ShoWTimE. I want to point out that this wall off is going to do so much havoc to any charge lots that come up the ramp. With this cannon by his support, everything is going to be just demolished. Ooh, it looks like he will get some big feedbacks on the sentries. That is a very clutch decision. No force fields on the ramp. However, in turn, mouzMaNa sees that this is going to be nearly impossible to break with Charge Out Archon, although he has not seen these Colossus coming out yet. Although ShoWTimE is missing a beat and not producing. Oh, he doesn't have the gas for another Colossus, but he desperately needs that. And if mouzMaNa's paying attention, he might be able to catch the Robo Facility, but no, he's going to go for the Forge, try and cancel out that +1 armor, and get a free pylon or two, and blink out. Ooh, but he does miss one Stalker. It's a shame. Back at mouzMaNa's base, these Phoenix, I don't know where they went, but they cleared out those gas geysers for mouzMaNa, unless he's just trying to pump in a lot of minerals, but I can't understand the rationale behind that. And you see still no proxy pylon, which is a shame because he has this warping, as you could see, was completely wasted, quote unquote, since he could have prepped up the pressure, forced ShoWTimE to make a few mistakes. But no, he's just gonna sit on it. And this blink should catch a couple of Phoenix off guard with his observer placement, which I'm surprised ShoWTimE hasn't been able to catch, considering he has an observer on his army. mouzMaNa's been able to move this this observer around, excuse me, so precisely to avoid detection. As you can see, mouzMaNa is going for his third base, while the Phoenix have discovered it, which is going to prompt Twilight Council remaking the Forge and more Colossus production as he moves out. Yes, I would assume he would need to pressure this third, and since he does not have a third of his own. And with all these units being caught in the middle, if mouzMaNa's not paying attention, this could do massive amounts of damage. But ShoWTimE doesn't have Blink, which is a slight mistake. You always want to have maneuverability on these Stalkers, and for 150, it's really not that much of a deal. But I think he's getting this Twilight Council more for more upgrades. Yes, he's going for +2 attack instead of that +1 armor he was trying to research. While he is getting his third, and mouzMaNa is switching into double Robo, I believe. Yeah, so I expect to see a heavy Colossus switch, and he'll be able to pump out quite a few by the time that ShoWTimE pushes forward. And considering ShoWTimE is actually switching into Archons and has not made a second Robo, it's going to catch him off guard a little bit, I believe. And it should be a really powerful attack because a double Robo Colossus can come out so quickly. But it looks like ShoWTimE is going to be caught off guard here. mouzMaNa is pushing forward. Ooh, some clutch force fields. 4 Zealots die for free, only doing a little shield damage to the Stalkers. And mouzMaNa is just relentlessly pushing forward. This could be a really powerful attack if he gets the angle. Because he's so Zealot heavy, if he gets caught in a choke with some force fields, these Colossus will have a field day and just demolish the Silent Army. As you can see, mouzMaNa is splitting up his Zealots right here, which is not really a good thing, but we have a lot of Immortals for ShoWTimE, which is tearing apart the Stalker army as mouzMaNa is forced to blink away. However, these Archons are taking up so much damage and in turn dealing so much. However, mouzMaNa is forced to pull back with no Colossus kills done and a free Immortal picked off, and these Zealots have been forced to do really nothing because they were forced to, the AI pushed them against the cannon, so to speak. And it looks like mouzMaNa is forced to clean up, and let's see if ShoWTimE, yes, he does get the Observer. However, back at mouzMaNa's base, he's getting a lot of Zealots. Still has this High Templar. I'm surprised he, and a couple of Idle Probes, but I'm surprised he doesn't try to make that one into an Archon. And he has double Colossus production, which is gonna very quickly put him into the Colossus lead if, as we can see, because ShoWTime's switching into Archons right now to tank a lot of the Zealot fire. And I don't think it's the correct decision to forego Colossus in this way, though. So I'm not. It's kind of an even. Good that he's getting Archons, bad that he's not keeping up Colossus, but he really doesn't have the gas production for it right now. However, he's going for +3 attack, which will put him ahead of mouzMaNa, who's only on +2 attack, I believe. No, mouzMaNa is in fact in +3 attack. So this is really in favor for ShoWTimE because he's going to have a really big army right now, and unless mouzMaNa can get out these Colossus as soon as possible, he's really going to be caught off by this army. And ShoWTime's just looking around for fourth, since he already knows his third is here. I would like to see these Phoenix harassing a bit more, but I guess they're low energy and he can't really do a lot against that kind of fortified position. So right now we see a 30 supply lead for ShoWTimE and getting a free Stalker, but the Stalker will be able to scout out the space. Is he going to get a probe kill? Oh, okay, no. He's going to get picked up by the Phoenix, and that will be dealt with very easily. Thermal Lance is only about halfway done for mouzMaNa, which is going to be very crucial, especially since ShoWTimE is posturing for a big push right now. has a lot of zealots, and zealots do 20 damage. Yeah, so they'll do. Oops, here we go. Here's a push. They'll do a lot of damage. That's what I'm putting. So Guardian Shield has been popped. He's looking to get into a position, possibly waiting for some reinforcements. I'm not quite sure I agree with waiting for Phoenix, but a lot of these stalkers are coming up, and it looks like he's instead just going to pull back since he has scouted Mana's army, sees they have comparable Colossus numbers, and that Mana has an upgrade advantage. So he's going to sit back, wait for +3, and just add on more gates, get ready to macro. I'm surprised neither of these players have really set up a proxy pylon, because their armies are really suffering by not having that reinforcement power. So it looks like ShoWTimE is looking to force an engagement right here. Mana does have a good spread. However, unfortunately, he's going to ball up the second he moves, yes. And it looks like they're getting ready for engagement. Mana's forces are going to get. These Archons are taking so much tanking damage that it's beautiful. However, a lot of these Zealots are being caught behind the Stalkers, and it looks like Mana's forces. Ooh, he's going to lose her Colossus here, but the Blink Stalkers are doing a lot of damage. And however, they've hit the Immortal line, and Immortals will just demolish whatever army is left over. And I don't see how ShoWTimE can lose. It's just crashing forward, getting all the Colossus. He's going to encounter one Morphine Archon, two Morphine Archons, and yes, that is the game. Mana's position was not so great, especially since he balled up, and his Colossus switch was a little late. Not to mention their upgrades were comparable. Mana did not really push the advantage he had with this +3 attack and waited for his opponent to get +3 attack. As well as you could see, the more Immortals just tore up the Blink Stalkers that Mana was hoping to use for some positional advantage and never was able to do so. So that is it for the game. Shows the volatility of PvP, where one player can have an advantage, and just, you know, those Blink Stalkers really had Mana in a good position, sniping off tech structures, but he couldn't really do anything with it. And I'm really surprised ShoWTimE stayed on 4 Colossus, but in the end it turned out for the better, as he was able to crush through Mana's forces. So that does it for me. I will see you all in my next cast. Thanks for watching.